All right, welcome back. We're going through the book of Galatians, left off in chapter 3, verse 1, where he says, O foolish Galatians, who has bewitched you that you would not obey the truth, before whose eyes Jesus Christ has been evidently set forth crucified among you? This only would I learn of you. Received you the Spirit by works of the law or by the hearing of faith? And in verse 2, like he's saying, did you come to Christ, become a believer by doing good works, by anything that you had to do on your own, or did you hear a message and then you received it? And the obvious answer, for these people as well as for us, is someone shares the gospel of Jesus Christ with us and we choose to believe it. And that's it. But quickly on the heels of that is, if Satan cannot keep you from becoming a believer, what he wants to do is just trip you up. So he starts adding these things that seem to be good, that we should be doing. He puts those requirements back on the ones who receive this free gift. And, Paul goes through here, like in in chapter 1, he was talking about like he was an apostle, and he explains how he became an apostle and how it was God's design. His purpose for Paul was for him to be that apostle to the non-Jews. And in chapter 2, he talks about how the people who were traveling with him, who were ministering with him, they were not compelled to be under the Jewish tradition of circumcision. And then he talks, to Paul. Paul talks to Peter in chapter 2 and says, hey, it's not about being circumcised, and then it's also not about separating yourself from everybody else. That's not what saves you. And then he takes it all the way back to Abraham in chapter 3, and in verse 6 it says, even as Abraham believed God, and it was accounted to him for righteousness. It says, know you therefore that they which are of faith, the same are the children of Abraham. And so he's reiterating the fact that it's like this concept of faith and being seen as righteous before God by what you believe, not by what you do, but it's by what you believe. He takes it all the way back and says, hey, this is how it started off with God and with Abraham. And Abraham is the connecting point that all the Jewish believers, that's where they draw their, their lineage from. So it's important for us to not get away from this fact that, if it wasn't for Abraham, we wouldn't have the Jewish nation. And if it wasn't for the Jewish nation, we wouldn't have this, the laws and the traditions of like circumcision. We wouldn't have the 10 Commandments if it wasn't for God giving it to the Jews. We wouldn't have all of these, like all of the sacrifices, all of the keeping of the Sabbath, the keeping of the new moon, like these rituals and these traditions that they had. We wouldn't have any of that if it wasn't for the Jewish nation. And Paul is he's trying to establish this fact that it's not about all of those laws and traditions, because nobody could keep those perfectly, and they weren't even designed to justify us or to bring us into salvation. And he says, if the law brings righteousness, Christ died for nothing. And that's a powerful statement. And something that we need to think about is like, it always goes back to what Jesus Christ did. And it's all about his obedience, and it's about that free gift that we receive. And if we can make this distinction in our minds, it's like, I'm not going to deviate from that. I'm not going to start adding things to make myself a better Christian or a better believer. You know, we enjoy doing that because it helps our pride. It's like, oh yeah, I don't say that. I don't go there. I don't do this. I don't do that. It's like, I am a good Christian. It's like, no, we are all pathetic. We are weak. We are completely engulfed in sin, and we were rescued. And we need to give thanks for that. And we need to, the only way that we get in is by Jesus Christ and what we receive from him. It's not what we have to offer. He didn't save us because we were good. He saved us because we were terrible, and we were in the place of needing to be saved. You needed to be rescued. That's all of us. Everybody. So probably a good time to finish up there, but yeah, we'll pick back up and try to get through chapter 3. See ya.